Hey, what's up guys? John here. Auto loan defaults, delinquencies, and repossessions are at the highest point in American history.
People behind on payments have been rising to pre-pandemic levels, and the rate of loan defaults is going up.
Think about that. Many people say we're in a strong and booming economy. But when you start to look at the data, you start to look at the facts, and you start to see what's really happening, you'll see where we're really going. They claim that 200 million cars will be removed from the roads over the next 5.5 years. It's about 80% of all cars. 80% of all cars will be removed from the road. Now, people say that'll never happen. Look at this. Forbes, just showing you how long this has been in the works, right? 2017, what will car ownership look like in the future? And they say that private car ownership will drop 80%. Business Insider, only 20% of Americans will own cars in 15 years. 2017, right? So the same timeline, 7 years ago, they were making this prediction. And then you have this massive bubble formed inside of the auto market. You have NBC News. 95% of your driving won't be your own car, right? And when did that come out? One day after this Business Insider, May 4th, 2017, and this is May 5th, 2017, right? So you start to see this, you should probably connect the dots here and kind of understand how this whole thing is going to unfold and unravel. And that's what I'll do for you in this video, because maybe you own a car and you need it to get to work. Maybe drop your kids off at school. Maybe you need it for your business. Well, make sure you're avoiding these pitfalls so you can hold on to your car. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's really going on in America's economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in American history, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Look at this. Crazy. Car owners are having a hard time hanging on to their vehicles in the midst of an economy with soaring interest rates. According to Cox Automotive, the volume of repossessed vehicles at Manheim Auctions, the largest wholesaler marketplace, is up 23% year over year through the first half of 2024. They're also up 14% compared to the same period in 2019. While that's only one metric, Cox Automotive senior analyst Jeremy Robb told Fox Business that he also tracks default industry-wide using Equifax data. The data suggests that defaults are up 11% during the first half of the year compared to the same period in 2019. Lenders can repossess a vehicle when a loan is in default. Data from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's largest quarterly tracking for American household levels of indebtedness. And what they're saying here is that reveal 4.4% have an outstanding loan that's in serious delinquency. And during the first quarter of 2024, auto loan balances increased $9 billion, now stands at $1.62 trillion. Now, here's how this whole thing is going to work out. This is pretty wild. So now the EPA, they just approved to increase the ethanol. They say 15%. And so, will E15 gas hurt my engine? And this answer so one of major complaints of the E15 opponents is that ethanol can corrode many of the plastics, metals, and rubber components used in an internal combustion engine and their fuel systems. Hence, using fuel with higher concentration of ethanol than the manufacturer recommends may damage your vehicle, right? But the EPA says, no. Look, this is fine. This is okay. Maybe it is. I'm not an expert in ethanol. But then, right after they report that, then they announce temporary expanded sales of higher ethanol gas. So people are putting this in their vehicles, which, according to one major manufacturer, is going to greatly reduce the lifespan of many of these cars. And so most people have a traditional gas car. They're going to start to see more and more cost creep up on a liability, which would be their car, alongside increased insurance and everything else, right? Not to mention that car repairs are getting more and more expensive due to inflation and all of the chaos unfolding with supply chains right now. It's going to be really challenging for a lot of people to service their cars, to get them, on the road, and to pay for them. I think we're going to see a lot of people losing their vehicles over the coming year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean, according to all those media outlets, about 80% of people. That is a massive number. But what will be the alternative, right? Would they take these cars off the road? Sure. But how would people get around? How would people get food? How would the world flow? How would it operate? Well, What they're saying is California, they're saying that they would need 1 million EV charging stations, but that's unlikely. Look, they charge $7.5 billion. They said $7.5 billion will cover, all these charging stations. They've only built 8, right? We're walking into a disaster. That's what's happening right now. We're walking into a disaster. The economy is not ready to take on this entire shift overnight. I mean, how could it? It would have to be something gradual towards every single quarter, every year. It's easier and easier and easier to do this transition if people wanted to. But to do it the way in which it's happening right now, it's a train wreck. At least that's how it seems. New York Times, Biden administration announces rule aimed at expanding electric vehicles. Now, they say that cars and other forms of transportation are together the largest single source of this, right, of carbon. Now, they say the number one goal is to eliminate this. So how does this whole thing work without us not walking into a train wreck? 3 years ago, I set an ambitious target that half of all new cars and trucks sold in the next 5.5 years would be zero emissions. So how many people are out there looking to buy a new car now, or in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? People aren't going to be able to afford it, not many. And so they're going to be doing ride shares, Lyft, Uber, electric scooters. They're going to try to find a cost-effective way to get around. I think what we're going to likely see is a scenario where people are going to start opting in for electric vehicle leases because the prices are so inexpensive. And then it's going to get to the point where insuring these electric vehicles is too expensive, charging them is too expensive, and then people will just gradually move into, the Lyft, the Uber, the electric scooters, and all that. But all this is already, set. This is already in motion. Together, we've made historic progress, hundreds of new expanded factories across the country, hundreds of billions in private investment, and thousands of good-paying union jobs, and we'll meet my goal, right, in the next 5.5 years. So you think about this. The average American right now has a used car payment of $533, a new car payment of $726. Average insurance, $172 a month, according to U.S. News, right? So you're looking at $800-900 a month, not including gas, not including oil changes, repairs. How many people can really afford this? I mean, really, how many people can actually afford this? Not many people. Used car prices fall so much they're driving down inflation. 18 hours ago, MSN, a couple months ago. Used car prices fall again in April, down nearly 17% from the pandemic. And Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Utah, 1 in 5 are spending $1,000 a month just on their car payment. So this is going to be the biggest bubble ever. And you can kind of follow this because look, they say that what's behind the rapid increase in car insurance rates. So they said that car insurance has increased so here in CNN, they're saying that it's up 21% for 12 months ending in February, right? 21%. So that came out March 13th. Well, on May, so 2 months later, they're saying car insurance is now up 22%, right? So 21 to 22%. Then they say in June, a month and a half ago, that it went to 26%. So 21 to 22 to 26% in a 4-month period, right? And we're at a 50-year high right now in car insurance rates. Like we're a 47-year high. It's through the roof. People are just going to get squeezed out of their used cars. The average American right now they're earning $37,000 a year, right? But yet gas, car payments, car insurance, everything factored in is almost a third of their overall gross income. During the pandemic, during that era, when they printed a ton of money, stimulus checks, PPP loans, all these different business loans, the EIDL loans, all this, it fueled a bubble of mass proportions. And this bubble is now popping on the back of high interest rates and strained consumers and all these new laws. Now, they say there's 243 million Americans, licensed drivers, and that 91% have at least one car. So you just start to think about how big of a crisis this is and why this is all going to happen. The electric vehicle is the perfect, pivot into this because, look at this tweet. It's getting a lot of attention. 325,000 views, and now it's probably at 718,000. This just came out. The EU is now requiring all new cars to be installed with a driver monitoring system. This will monitor the face of drivers. We're going towards control. Like, this is what they're saying, right? Well, some people will say, John, that's the EU. That's the EU. Well, you look at this. America is doing the same thing, right? How new driver monitoring systems might benefit those being monitored, right? And how this is going to be a good thing. And we're already here. Like, this is where we're all going. These gas vehicles, we're going to see these prices fall like a rock. I mean, and it's all around the same timeline as the EU. EU is 2027. This is EPA.gov. This is the website right here. You can pull it down, you can see it. EPA.gov. So you kind of get a clear understanding of where this is at. You'll realize when we walk into an affordability crisis, some would say we're in one now. I think we're walking into one. People are going to start looking at their biggest expense. It's going to be the home. It's going to be the car. If they walk out front of their home and they see a car they paid $45,000 for that's now worth $22,000 or $23,000 or $25,000, they go on cars.com and they start looking at comparable cars. What are they going to do? They're going to say, why am I making payments on a car that I'll never be able to, get my money out of? I'm going to give the keys back. That's what I'm going to do. And we're going to see millions and millions and millions of people making that realization in the coming months when they're questioning, how they're going to feed themselves. They're going to be downsizing living standards, bringing in roommates, and unloading cars. It's going to be a big, big, big problem. I think one in which we've never before seen, one in which that's going to make 2008 look like a great economy. What do you think about this entire situation? Let's have a conversation about this below. If you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. Maybe you're thinking about buying a distressed vehicle or investing in distressed real estate. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, or bankruptcies, repossessions, any issue at all on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video. See you next video.